On this show, you'll find inspiration, motivation, and advice from experts, as well as valuable tips on how to get started or improve your business. Let's dive into how you can begin and grow your wisdom business. Inspiring others looks different for everyone. How will you inspire? Welcome to the Wise Name Podcast, and today we're chatting with Simon and Helen. Simon and Helen together are a lethal combination when it comes to teaching about how to build friendships. They coach people who are longing for deep and authentic connections to master the social skills needed to start forming incredible friendships in their Authentic Friendship program. Simon and Helen, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're just happy to be able to give into your community as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be lovely, lovely. Well, we can't wait for our audience to hear what you've got to share with us. And first, let's start with, how did you get started in this coaching program, building friendships?
Well, I think it started with me, and it was a journey of over 4 years of just actually feeling inspired to say, because we're believers, and I felt God saying, well, you can do all these things. What can't you help doing? And with that question, I was like, I don't know what I can't help doing. I know all I can do, and I can live up to all these expectations that can make all these things happen.
Yeah.
So after like a year and a half, to be honest, or maybe even 2 years, I was pretty clear on the things that I couldn't help doing. Something about self-reflection, something about trying to build people up around me and making them move and not get stuck in their problems. And then I really felt God asked me, well, what do you want to push in this world? And that was another one of those, I'm not quite sure. So
I'm a bit stumped.
Yeah, I'll get back to that one. And then it kind of evolved this whole thought around friendships, because I just looked around. We've been coached and mentored hundreds of people over the last, 20 years. And just in all these conversations, friendships are such a core part of who we are as humans.
Yes.
And it's something we talk so little about.
Yeah, that's true.
It is key to, and for me, it's been key in my friendships. Even when I met Simon, I was like, so these are my girls. And if you're dating me, you're kind of not dating them, but they're part of the package. Deal with it. But I also see so many people who lose their friends, or who doesn't prioritize their friendships during life. And then all of a sudden, they need those friends.
Yeah.
And also talking to people who feel so shameful when there's conflicts, when it's hard, when they're shy, when it's just difficult to build close relationships. And I just see, so we just saw this need.
Absolutely. And it of course, it got emphasized massively due to this past season as well. That was not why we started it, but Corona has just emphasized this so much. So it's really a boil down of 15, 20 years of coaching people and just seeing that this central area of friendships will spill over into every single life. Once you master these skills, it doesn't just make you a better friend, it makes you a better wife, husband, colleague. It just makes you a well-rounded person to master these skills. So digging into this niche has just been so natural, but also so massively giving.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. And you mentioned, have you had 20 years of coaching prior to this?
Well, we haven't taught and coached professionally for 20 years with our own program. I'm a trained teacher by profession.
Right. Yeah.
And actually in the middle of my studies, I started a program working with kids struggling with the law, helping kids with gang relations out of gangs and into society again. Yes. So I started dealing with coaching them and working with them through that. And actually for a while, I was a street pastor working with homeless people and people with addiction and working with coaching that. So we've been coaching people in different settings for many years. But there was like this thread through the whole thing of these skills just kind of popping up when we started discussing, like, we need to focus on friendships. And we just seen a massive change in that.
Yeah.
And I've been a certified coach for the last 20 years, and I've also done 10 years in human resource development. So
you had enough to
doing
back
all
you guys
kinds
up
of
in
HR.
this. Yeah.
So just working with relationships, team building, everything.
Yeah.
So just digging into that and just conversations. And then I think we just also really love people.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think one of the things I've always seen the winners, the people that looks like everything is okay, the people everybody else looks at and think, oh, they're doing well, they're popular. And I'm like, oh, so what is there? What's going on inside of them? Because I know everybody struggles. I know everybody struggles.
Yes.
And it can be so much more shameful to come out and say it. If everybody thinks, oh, but you're the one that's always get good grades or have success and you get the promotion, you have the great husband or the great wife. And you're like, well, actually, I'm struggling. I'm not connecting with anybody on the inside.
Right.
And I've seen so many people just in fault being like, oh, you see me as a human and not as this glitter surface.
And humans have both sides to us, don't we? We're not all perfect, but we all strive to be perfect for some reason. And we're not going to reach perfection by any means. That's my belief anyway. Like we can all be as good as we can try and be. And when it comes to friendships, and I love this topic because we go through phases in our life, don't we, where we build up our friendship groups and we have our close, school friends, kinder friends, all that sort of stuff. And then you start building up and you got high school and dynamics change a little bit because more of the personalities pop out. And as you get older, and we've noticed this as well, when I say we, my husband and I have noticed this as well, where we have our group of friends and it almost starts to sort of shrink a little bit as, families start being built, moving to different locations, career changes, all that sort of stuff happens. And, that whole reminiscing all the time of the good old times, every time you get together, you feel like you're just, on a repeat all the time. But there's only those certain few. But it's interesting how we can all become all of a sudden so busy in our lives that you forget that connection and how important that connection is. Just like you said, Helene, like the whole we can forget sometimes that they're there, and it's like all of a sudden you're going through something and it's like, oh, I need my friends, but you haven't been in contact with them for so long. So what do you teach in your program in the sense of, is it a matter of, like you were saying, skills, Simon, like is it how to keep that constant friendship there even through busy times and so forth, or is it just more the listening skills, the soft skills, all that sort of stuff?
Well, it's the two parts, really. We teach how to grow depth in existing friendships, and we teach how to start forming new friendships.
New ones.
So it really depends on the person, because there are both sides and they're very important. When we talk to people, it's like, do you even need a friendship coach? And then we start to explain what we mean by authentic, real, deep friendships. We mean friends where when you have those days where you don't like yourself, you don't want to look yourself in the mirror.
Those days.
And those kind of days where the most of us would just shut the doors, don't let anyone in for 24, 36 hours and just pop out again. Like, but do you have anyone at that point in your life where you'll call them and say, I have that kind of day. Can you just love me for who I am right now? And most people say, no, those kind of friends I don't have. I may let my spouse in, but I don't have friends that I let in that sense. And so we teach people who are at that place to say, well, if you have those kind of friends, we'll teach you how to grow depth in those. And people who, for some reason, career change, divorce, or having drifted apart, whatever it may be, find themselves without any, we'll teach them how to do it. But I think it's very important what you said, and I want to stretch that. It's not a personality thing. That's the taboo that goes around that. Extroverted people are so good at getting friends. Introverted people, well, we just kind of, and I've heard people say this, introverted people have to wait for the extroverted to kind of fall in love with them to find friends. Like, but that's not how it is. But it is the general idea that extroverted people can't. But it is very much skill-based. That's what we found, that there are very much skills you can learn, strategies you can put in place, and being intentional about going out there. then there's so much hope and there's so much to gain from it. That's what we teach our clients. And honestly, we want to get loud about it anywhere, because it's really what we want to put on the agenda. Friendships can be attained, but we have to work on it.
Yeah.
Just love to talk, like you said, about how to create rhythms around your friendships. And also, like you say, the season changes. I think one of the big mistakes we see is we don't talk about season change in our friendships.
Right.
And then we kind of just hope, like, if it's a true friendship, then it'll last. It's like, or we could talk about how we can create new rhythms that'll make it last.
Yes. Yeah.
And I see this so many times in my friendships and the friendships around me, that there's this, there are two ways. Either we create new paths, new ways of being together, because we get married, we move away from each other, we get small kids, we change jobs, we just seasons. Even right now, I have a season with a friend that's just really sick because she had a stroke, but we still want to remain close. How does that look in this season? And we can either get hurt because we're not as close, or we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So navigating those seasons, that's also what we put on the agenda, but also creating rhythms. When do you reach out? What do you do? We love to talk about habits and like how to form habits, and use that in friendships as well. Because if we don't have the habits, it's hard to keep up.
It's so interesting you saying that, because recently a friend of ours, like we've had our friendship groups, for like 20 plus years. And it's so interesting because one of the guys, not the wife, one of the guys from the group said, let's catch up and meet every month. We'll have dinner. And we're like, all right, we'll do that. And we don't realize how quick each month comes and how much we look forward to that dinner. And it was because we realized we weren't seeing each other for almost a year. Obviously, yes, COVID came in there somewhere along the way, but there was a period where we weren't seeing each other almost every year. And I thought, we used to be such close friends. We would talk on the phone, but it's that time to actually interact personally, and there's 3 of us couples that get together every month, and it's wonderful. But it's true. It's so important, and it's applicable across, like you said, on any platform, like working with colleagues and meeting, just even in transit, just being able to communicate with people on a, I guess, respectful level as well when it comes to, interacting with authority, whatever. But, it's a matter of that. I think, that's a skill that a lot of us sort of tend to just rely on based on us growing up. We learnt those skills. We don't need to keep going now, but it's good to revisit because it does change, obviously, as you get a little older. So going through this, creating this, business and, how you, like, you're all based on making friendships and connecting with people. So how did you build up your audience?
Wow, it's been a bumpy ride as well, and I guess everyone starting entrepreneurship will agree with that. So to be honest, we're still working on that and trying it out, and we've been all over the place. We started trying to build audience through YouTube ads and going through that door. To be honest, we stepped away from that because we didn't think we found as much of the right audience.
But also because it doesn't match our values, because you say we build relationships. So and that was just one of the advice that we got. You got to start with YouTube ads. And then we tested it out like, that doesn't match our values. And it doesn't match our program, not to
just
build
one way
relationship, like you said. And it's this performance. It's not an authentic meeting between people.
Very true. Yep.
And that's just like, well, we're people meeting people. We can't build authentic friendships if we can't meet people in an authentic way.
And I think there's so much learning in this as well, and we have to find our own feelings. We were new in building it online, and when you do ads, we were advised to be strong on the pain so people can feel it and then show the result. And to be honest, after doing it for a while, we realized this is not us. We don't want to push pain into people's faces.
Trigger.
There's enough pain out there, right? We don't want to do that. And it wasn't terrible, but it just didn't feel like us. So we decided to step away from ads and go full on organic and try to build that up, in the sense trying almost to be influencer-ish and putting a lot of content out there and really showing who we are. And we found that resonates well with us. And we see that slowly and steadily we are gaining more and more audience. And it's definitely still a growing process, but it just felt more like us to just bring that out and just slowly see what happens through that. So that's definitely been our journey.
Yeah.
Taking the slow way instead of the fast way.
Yeah. And I agree.
Yeah, I think
especially in that niche, that topic of conversation, you need to be authentic and you need trust plays a huge part in that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's quite a private area that we talk about, and even an area that most people don't have a language around yet.
Yeah.
So we also feel that part of our agenda is really just to put it out there and start the conversations. So we want to help people on a closer level to build friendships, but we also just want to start the conversations in homes around the world. So even being on different podcasts has also been a great way of spreading the word and starting the conversation. And then we enjoy it. One of the things that we realize when we talk about friendships is our audience don't congregate around talking about meeting friends. Our audience are more the kind of people who then distract themselves in work, or activities, or just superficial relationships.
Okay.
And so we have to be very broad in the way we communicate. So we communicate through reels as well. But what I love about the whole organic thing is also that you'll see our message, but you'll also see us in our messy home when our kids are off the roof, or like when something just like us, or talking about the fact that it can be difficult for us as well, because we are also just on a journey here, because no relationship is ever perfect until we become perfect, and as we agree, Nikki, we won't. So they'll always, like, no matter how much we know about building friendships, that doesn't make it smooth sailing, right?
And isn't it interesting? It's interesting when you say, you know, the like obviously, perfection's not there or anything like that, but, you know, building up, you know, an audience, it's like building up friendship groups. It's you have to do it slowly. It's like dating. Like you're not going to go straight into marriage. Like it's just one of those things. You've got to build up that trust and understanding with people. And but what I truly love about this is the fact that, you know, there are people out there that are like, you know, marriage, you know, coaches, guidance, all that sort of stuff. And then you've got, you know, personal coaches, building your personal brand or helping you market yourself and so forth. But there aren't many people out there, anyway, that I know of, but I'm sure there are many. There are many, but it's not such as a big booming industry to actually have people out there to assist you in making friendships. And friendships, like you said at the very beginning, Helene, it's just that it is something that is the base of humanity, of creating friendships, connections. You need someone to be able to turn to, talk to, whatever it is. And, you know, I'd love to ask you this, and this is sort of like off to the side a little bit, away from the whole, you know, coaching business and everything. But what would you know, you mentioned, you know, sometimes you can talk to your spouse, but, you know, sometimes you should really talk to a friend. What's your thoughts on that? Like, is it more important? Like, do you feel it's too stressful to always talk to a spouse, or sometimes there's things that you can't talk to a spouse about? Is that where you're going with that?
No, I think the point is balance. And there's so many studies that actually point to the fact that friends will make your marriage better. And it's you need the balance of it. And I would definitely say if I didn't have other people in my life as well to vent something with, having the guys where this is what I talk with them about, we're very close and we don't have any secrets, but there is also a balance of when, where, how do we talk about it, and having people around us is strengthening us. So I would definitely say, and I think for men especially, this is a sickness around the world that so many men, then they're retired and they find out that all their colleague friends were not friends, they were colleagues. And they find themselves sitting at retirement and not having friends and actually becoming very lonely. So one thing is to actually make sure you build them before it's too late. But I would also say it is a massive strength in a relationship, in a marriage, to have people outside of it. It doesn't mean that you can't be very, very close with your significant other, but it just means that one person, of course, cannot be your entire world. And that's really it. But we tend to think so, and we tend to over-romanticize the one relationship. But every study just shows that it actually strengthens that one relationship to have friends around it. And so that's very much what we advocate for, and very much so that you build those friendships before you need them, not when you need them, because that is painful. And that's not only in terms of retirement, but it's also just that life is seasons, and sometimes you need them more than others, and making sure that.
I also think there's when you said, is there some things you can't talk to one or the other about? We believe that we need to talk more about everything, basically, and be more open. We actually don't have a lot of, like, we have people in our lives that we don't have secrets for. They'll know what's going on because of that transparency. They can actually look at us and go, how's it going with that? I sense there's a direction in your marriage, because we need other people's perspective on our lives as well. So it's not a matter of what you can talk about. It is a matter of getting different input. Of course, trusted, close input. But sometimes we're so caught up in what's going on in our lives that we need someone out here going, well, if I look at it from the helicopter perspective, this is what I see. This is the direction. And they also have the authority. We have especially one friend, she has the authority to point out, are you true to your values in parenting? Or are you actually sticking close to each other like you said you would? Or she'll point out things and keep us accountable to being the partners even that we want to be.
Right.
Because there's this story that in marriage there should be some secrets.
Yeah, we're not like that at all. My husband and I are just way too open with each other.
But I don't think, Nikki, I don't think there's way too open. I think there's a, hey, let's all be human together. Why should there be secrets? We bicker at each other. We fight about this stupid stuff. We get too emotional, or we read too much into stuff. And let's be real about it. And even when it comes to our intimate lives, like, let's be real about it and put it on the agenda, not publicly maybe, but just in a sense that all these things tend to become shameful when we put them in the dark.
And whenever we do that, we create taboos, and we dig a hole, and that's really the point as well. And I would take that into every friendship as well. We sometimes tend to be too superficial in friendships and not dare to take the talks into the friendships. And that's also why we don't grow the depth where people actually get to know us on a more intimate level, don't get to see the other sides, because we kind of think, oh, this is only for the home. This shouldn't be in here. And we don't take friendships seriously enough. So if you said something that offends me, like, well, I shouldn't address that. We don't want to rock the boat. But honestly, that just means you're not taking that friendship serious. And that will affect it. And down the line, when that happens 5 times, well, then it's not a friendship anymore. Then you just
should be able to say,
so these things spill over in every sphere, definitely. And we need friendships. We need, and we very much say you have, of course, you have your significant other. And of course, there's a level of intimacy there that is, I would say, shouldn't be found anywhere else. But a very close second is some very close friends around you. But then you need your buddies and you need your acquaintances and you need to meet some strangers every now and again. So they all have value. And of course you can have more. Of the looser the relationship is, of course you can have more. And every single level of friendships has value for a human being to kind of be in balance.
That's a good way of putting it. Because there's so many different levels of friendships and relationships we all have, obviously. Like, there's that, work wife that comes up, or work husband, But there's so many levels, and, I am one of those people who are very open, and sometimes our friends joke around and go, oh, don't say that. But that's just how I was brought up like that. I was brought up as don't be ashamed of anything, just be really open about stuff, and we are.
Bring it all out.
And then then there's my husband, who's just a little bit more conservative on some occasions. But when it comes to friendships and building relationships, like you said, authenticity is so important, and it comes across in many ways. But I would love to ask you this: through your process of coaching people in this area, is there any particular thing that you've learned yourself, any lessons that you've learned, whether it be in how you share, you guide and coach, or any lessons you've learned from other people just in general?
Well, that's a good question.
To be honest, I think we often quote Brené Brown in terms of you can only connect as deep as you connect with yourself.
Right.
And I think for me, definitely, it's a learning process. It is not my natural state at all to open up. It definitely isn't. So my process through the last 10 years of opening more and more up, being more and more real about myself, my story is that I was the go-to person for every single person in my sphere to come and talk to me about everything. I am I exude trust, apparently. And people come to me and talk to me. And I love that. And I've always loved that. But one day a girl from my studies at that point asked me whether anyone actually knew me. And that was that eye-opener, because I always kept people at arm's length. I kept people away. So that process has taught me to open up and actually intentionally seek even more vulnerability in conversations. And that continues today. Down the line, I still have to intentionally design it so that I actually talk about things and grow the depth. Otherwise, I won't do it because it's just not natural to me. It's easier to just kind of float on the fun topics and crack a joke, but to stay to the depth in a conversation. So I definitely learned from that. And I think so many bits and pieces working with our clients as well teaches me, it's like, oh yeah, I want to dig deeper into this area as well. So it's all these small things. So for me, it's definitely been a learning process through the whole thing.
I think for me, it's what I've really learned in how to communicate is really listen and be curious before I communicate. Because we are so different as people. And honestly, that's been one of my learning points, is how different we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And becoming a lot less assuming that everybody should walk my road, but actually helping people to walk their own road.
Yeah, that's really
in their friendships and finding I can be so clever. And I think I can be so clever at least. But if it doesn't resonate with where people are at, it's not gonna move them. So I might feel like I'm in the expert, and I might have all the studies to support whatever I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't resonate with where they're at, it's not going to help them to move.
Yep.
And also, I think one of my big learnings is also becoming less and less fixed on how life should look.
Yeah.
And really helping people to define what their good life looks
like for them.
And when you help people really connect with themselves, most people do realize that connecting with others on a deep, authentic, and real level is one of the key things of making life worth living.
Right.
Because it's one of the things that sustain us. But helping people to get to themselves. So there's so much you can't tell people. You have to show, and you have to help them in their thought process.
Yeah. That leads me to this question then, because how do you work with someone who might be wanting to get into the industry of, starting a wisdom business, for example? So that takes, strength just to come up with that idea in the first place, to say, okay, I'm going to open up and let people know my wisdom. How do you, have you ever dealt with anyone, or do you have any tips for anyone who is going through that process of, I just don't feel sure of myself, but I want to connect with people, and on that friendship level, so they can trust me that I'm here for them. Maybe they're a coach, most likely in those cases, or a course creator, because they've got to create some sort of connection there with their students, so they can trust them. That, yes, I can learn something from that person. Do you have any advice for that type of person that might be feeling that way?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would encourage you to do is, like, studies all show that people like us more than we think they do. So be aware of your self-talk. Because are you telling yourself that people won't like you? That's often where your insecurity comes from. But are you telling yourself, people will like me? People actually are attracted to me.
Right.
And start changing your narrative. Because just all studies show that people like us much more than we think they do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the first step, like, because what goes on in your mind will definitely influence how insecure you feel.
But I would also take this into any, and I know it sounds like, okay, now the friendship coach is talking about friendships again, right? But as an entrepreneur, as someone building up, so many studies show that we are the average of the 5 closest people around us. For an entrepreneur to step into the role that you have in your heart, who are you in the room with? Who are you surrounding yourself with that can actually build this up in you? And as entrepreneurs, we need this more, I think, than almost any other, because entrepreneurs are looked upon by the rest of the world as being a little bit crazy. Why would you take that kind of a risk? Why would you step out of your day-to-day job? How full of yourself are you that you think you can change the world? All these questions that ordinary people that don't have the entrepreneur drive will ask. So for an entrepreneur to step into that, who are you surrounding yourself with that understands you? At the very least, they might not be entrepreneurs, but they have to have your back completely. So having that kind of people around you that can actually, when it hurts, because it will, and you will hit a wall every now and again, but that knows the struggle and be with you. So that is entrepreneur networks, but also making it smaller groups where you meet up and talk about these things, because someone who can speak that truth into your life. And then on top of that, it shows that the average of these 5 people, that is where you're going to go. So being in the room with someone who's taken a few of these steps will make sure that you're actually walking that direction.
Exactly,
So I do think there is something to that mindset of being around the right kind of people, building those friendships, building those entrepreneurial networks is a massive thing, especially for entrepreneurs. And yes, there are definitely ways of setting yourself up. How do you talk to yourself? But finding your people is massive.
Yeah. And I think the last one is just preparing questions, because the best way to connect people is make them feel interesting.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I started, I was very shy as a kid. So all my social skills I learned. And that's probably why I can teach them as well. Because I was so insecure. But preparing questions, knowing what you're going to ask. And then just really be curious about people. Take the focus off yourself. You don't have to be interesting. Because when people feel that they're interesting, they'll automatically connect with you and feel seen and valued. You don't have to wow them. Like we normally say that we impress people by our strength, but we connect around our weaknesses. So that is so true.
So true. Going the other direction though, not everyone's going to love us. So do you help your community prepare for those moments where we might not connect with someone? We can't please everybody. What do you talk about? What do you say about that?
So. We talk very much about making a plan and knowing our game plan. What's the goal ahead, and making plans about it. Actually, we have 4 pillars in our program, and the 4th one is maybe the most time-wise extensive, and that's what we call it: friendship dating, making a plan and getting out there and making the plan where we know what we want to do, why we want to do it, and how we want to get there. And not just putting all our eggs, or how do you say that in English?
Eggs in one basket.
All the eggs in one basket. That's the one, right? Sorry about that. So to understand that it's your need to go out and now make some friendships, and if you put all your eggs in one basket and only rely on that one situation, that one person, then it makes it very vulnerable. So part of our plan is also to say, we got to build for the longevity of this, and we got to see more people, we got to figure this out. And having that plan, that's very much where we work with what we call support and challenge, and helping them to make the plan and then challenge them to execute it, and kind of talk that through, because it is vulnerable. And you will, when you talk about building new friendships, whether it's connections with clients or other entrepreneurs, there will be times where you sit down and say, there was no connection here, and it was downright uncomfortable. It's like, that's okay. Yeah. Cut your losses, move on to the next one. Yeah. It's all right. It's part of the process. No matter what kind of relationships we build, some sort of chemistry has to be there. Otherwise, we won't work together, play together, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's definitely a strategy we build.
And we teach people that you can sort out if you don't feel the connection, and that's okay. Yeah. And that's important, that we take responsibility, so we don't have to please everyone. Yeah. Yes. But also the other part we talk about, when you, because you are going to get rejected. But what is rejection actually? Yes. Because rejection is just a sorting mechanism. If, for example, I don't want to be your friend, it's not because I feel you're trash or you're stupid or you're horrible or you're just not worth my while. It might be because I have a full life. It might be because I just don't quite see the connection. I think you're a fine person, but because we tend to think if we get rejected, we feel like, oh, that person just feels I'm horrible and I'm trash, and they
take it all personally. You take their
and you go to the deepest, darkest place you can find, and that's the story you tell yourself, right? Yeah. Just like, well, maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just a sorting mechanism, and that could happen from so many different places. And like you said, they might reject their impression of you. Yeah, that person doesn't know all the valuable, beautiful things you are. They just have an impression. And honestly, there are days I'm really boring. There's days where I'm really just,
aren't we all?
Often really just awkward. And if that's the impression, if that's the day you met me, you might not think I'm one that you want to connect to.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how it is for all of us. So like you said, keep it in an arm's length. Don't let the arrows hit you in the heart, but keep them there. And rejection is just a sorting. And you get to sort as well who you want to be in relationship with, whether it's building your business or it is building your friendships. Like, you should feel the connection as well. You don't need to force a connection with people that you don't connect with, because that's just going to be hard work.
Exactly.
And you can't help them as well. Also, it's not going to get the best results for them.
Yeah, so true. And there's very wise words there. Very wise words.
Yeah.
Because it is balance in life.
Neediness. Oh, sorry?
It's just a balance in life, isn't there? There's times that we'll connect, and then there's times where you don't connect. And it's a matter of just sort of, when you don't connect, you just have to let it go. It's not you. It's that typical breakup. It's not you, it's me, that kind of line. But it's true. You have to take that on as if, well, it's their decision. It's okay. They're allowed to feel how they feel. We just don't work together. Right. It's fine. What I have isn't what they need. So they'll move on to the next person, whatever sort of thing. Yeah, it is.
And take yourself seriously enough that's okay. I mean, you're in this, you want to make an impact in the world. You want to build your brand. You want to get as loud as you can. And that's all right. And take yourself serious enough to say, you know what? It's fine. We'll move on. We don't hate each other. It's just not us. And that's completely fine. Whichever relationship you're building.
Yeah, so true. For anyone who is looking to start a business, and we've pretty much talked a lot about, the advice that you'd give, but is there any one point of advice that you would give anyone who is contemplating starting a wisdom business?
I would definitely say, see my background, I'm pretty much a serial entrepreneur. I've done quite a few things around. And I would say, find something where you love the journey to bits and pieces. Don't love the end result. Don't go into this because you want to end up having a passive income. I'm sorry, there is no magic pill. No. So you have to be in some kind of work where you love the journey and you enjoy that. Yes, passive incomes, they are a thing. And working less and having more spare time, they are definitely a thing. but enjoy the journey, because that's also what's going to rub off on your clients. They're going to see that, they're going to be smitten by that, and they want to work with someone who enjoys what they're doing.
Yeah.
So find it from a passion point of view. Do something, as Helene said, that you can't help to do, that is just what flows out of you, because then you'll become the expert, because people just they're attracted to that. So love the journey, not the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also take the time to find your voice. It takes time to figure out.
That's right.
How do I get loud about this? How do I become authentic about this? Where do I talk about it?
Yeah.
Because we know, like, marketing is a big part of building a business.
It is, yeah.
I think that's one of the hard things is I have all this wisdom about friendships, but do I know the Facebook algorithm? Yeah, I do not. But, it's like...
I don't think anyone does really these days. It's just constantly changing. I give up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the whole finding ways to communicate about this that you feel confident with and that you also enjoy. It is enjoying the process, but it also, you need to get loud, because otherwise people are not going to find you.
There's a lot of noise out there that you've got to sort of...
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why you need to find your voice so that you don't become part of the noise, but you actually show up as you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stand out there.
Very good advice there. I would love to ask you, in the sense of, obviously the major lessons that you've learned along the way and you've grown and so forth, personally, going through this, how do you, this is sort of a side question in a sense, but, teaching this with your kids and, because your audience, I'm presuming your audience are more on the adult level. Does it apply to all ages? Do you share this sort of mantra, I guess, with your kids and so forth as well?
Yeah, definitely.
To a scary level.
Scary level to a 9-year-old.
Our 9-year-old has a massive language around friendships that is almost scary sometimes.
All right, okay.
The funny thing is, yes, very much so. Whether we talk to a 17-year-old or a 70-year-old, there are definitely some of the same dynamics that goes again, some of the same skills that are the same, and often a lack of understanding of it. How important it is to know how to build trust and know how to show trust is a fundamental key in terms of building relationships. We all agree that it must be there. So many of us just don't know how to do it. So whether you're 9, 17, or 70, that is the same thing. So I would say it's a lot of the same things. And of course, depending on the person and the situation, the wrapping is different. But yeah.
We sometimes laugh about the fact that we have the same conversations. We have a lot of teenagers in our life as well.
Yeah.
And just we have the same conversations with a 15-year-old as a 35-year-old. That's because we tend to only talk about friendships in school. And you talk about not bullying and you talk about being a good friend and say yes in games. But we don't talk about it after that. So our understanding and our language doesn't develop.
Yeah.
Which means that we might get stuck in some old ways of thinking if we don't actually have the conversations.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but we talk about it with our oldest. We talk about it with older kids. We talk a lot about it with teenagers, and we talk a lot about it with adults. And it is conflicts. It is, what are my needs? Is it okay to have needs?
Yeah.
It is, how do I take the first step in friendships? How do I get closer to someone? It is, how do I build trust? How do I share what I need? It is the same subjects that we walk around in all ages, but of course with different languages,
right?
Yeah.
Or different examples.
Yeah, and to be honest, often we find that adults actually need it a little bit more because we have a vocabulary around it in schools.
Yeah,
as Helene just said, no bullying, and teenagers are sometimes bad at this, sure, but adults can
bully
cruel and intentionally about it in a sense where teenagers, you might not know better, but adults, wow, it's almost, it is,
I love the whole, like when you talk to adults, like, I don't bully that person, I just don't talk about them. I talk with them. It's like when you freeze someone out of the group, that is one of the worst kinds of bullying.
Yeah, that's right.
So So all ages, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was asking, because obviously, you know, there's different mindsets. And like I was mentioning, if you feel rejected or whatever, you let that go. But on that next level, and that's why I didn't want to say bullying, but I wanted to sort of to see what would come out from what you were going to say, because it's true. It happens at every age level, but when it happens, the effect is very different, and it can really sort of play on you there.
Yes.
Why do you think people resonate with how you share your coaching?
I think it's, first off, because once we start talking about friendship, everybody's like, yes, no one talks about this.
Right.
So I think it's, first off, because it resonates in everybody that we have this, we're created for connection. Yeah. And we don't talk about, I think that's really one of the key things.
Yeah.
And then I think we are very intentional around how we try and authenticity. We sometimes think that either you're an authentic person or you're not, but actually we believe that authenticity is a choice every day. It is something that we practice. It's a skill and it's a value set. It's not something that you just are. So we choose authenticity. And we choose to be as human as we can. And we try to navigate and practice that in a space where we know we have to communicate in a clear way, but we also want to be really real about our vulnerabilities and our struggles with the different things that are going on. So I think that makes people resonate as well. It's just, we might be experts in the skills, but we're also just along for the journey.
And I think part of this also builds to a lot of the questions that we've been going over. How do you find your voice? Who do you work with? Who do you don't work with? What when people don't like you? We found a way to talk about something that we're passionate about, and that is magnetic, as I said. And the people who we attract, they find our specific blend delightful, right? And people who don't, they shouldn't be attracted to us. They shouldn't work with us, because if they don't like what they see, well, then being coached by us would be terrible. So also just resting in that and saying, you know what, there are billions of people out there, right? And if a few of them don't like you for the way you talk about it, well, then that's all right, because there will be some who do. And so because we are true to who we are and found our way of communicating, our way of making us loud, then that attracts the right kind of people to us. So it kind of builds through that. So we do definitely not resonate with everyone, but those who do, those are the right people for us. And those are the ones we should go further with. And that's the same for friendships. That's the same when you build client relationships. The right kind of people will be attracted to you. Don't try to be someone you're not, because then down the line, the conflict will just come halfway through your business relationship, where they find out, oh, I don't like that side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important to find your voice, because I know when we started doing ads, it didn't quite feel like our voice.
No.
Yeah.
And it was actually really annoying to be rejected by something that's not me.
Yeah.
And I feel much more relaxed now when people don't resonate with how I communicate. Well, that's okay, because you don't resonate with me. And then we should work together.
And it's fine.
Me.
Because you feel like you have to
performance that I did on that ad.
Yeah, you have to explain.
What did you say?
It wasn't me there. That's why you don't like it.
Exactly. So like the whole experience of, so you're rejecting the performance that I did on the ad. Well, that was just like,
and I didn't like it either.
So just like,
point.
Oh yeah, I didn't like me there either. So it's just so I think that's also the whole, it is okay that people don't resonate when you find the voice that you have and go, this is what I stand for.
No, that's really good. And what legacy are you looking to leave? Personal, business?
Well, if I see a kinder world behind me, a more loving world behind me, that would be my legacy. People where, because our vision is also, when you have friends that see you and love you for who you are, you dare to step out and be the outrageous, amazing rainbow person that you are. And we want to see people fit out. But we believe that we don't fit out by personal development. We fit out by also having our people that love us with everything we are.
Help us shine.
So it's kind of this, So a connected world that's connected around who we actually are rather than who we try to be to fit in.
Yeah.
That would be a legacy I would love to leave.
And I resonate very much with that. I just love people to bits and pieces. And when I get to see a person unfold everything that they are, not everything that they thought they were supposed to be, everything that they had of a crooked mental image, but starting just like, so this is me. And now I become the best version of me. Now that is magical every single time. And if a handful, I mean, sure, I'd love it sitting in 50 years. I would love to say it was millions of people. But more importantly, if every person who came through us got to see another nuance of themselves and unfold another layer of what they were supposed to be, oh yeah, that would be an amazing legacy. If that was what people got from being with us, I would love that. That's definitely a striving point.
And you're teaching life skills, so there's a domino effect, isn't there? Because what you're teaching them, they teach their kids. It carries on from there. It carries on from there. So fingers crossed, it'll be millions. You never know.
Fingers crossed, I hope. Yeah.
But that actually, our very first client in the program, that was his initial idea of getting into it. It's like, I don't want to be a dad the way my dad was a dad. I want to be a loving, warm dad who has friends and can show that to his world. And this guy, he is phenomenal and he's taken massive strides. So I'm just so blessed that he gets to pass that on to his future kids.
As well. Exactly. You guys have been amazing to chat to today. I could talk for hours with you, of course. And do you have an
appreciate how you share yourself through the journey as well and share your insights. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. But I'd love to ask if you've got an offer that you'd like to share with our audience today.
Yes, we do have a 6-month coaching program where we totally dig deep. It's a blended learning program where we totally dig deep in how you build friendships, how you acquire the skills, how you practice the skills, where we take your hand and really build the friendships that you long for. So if you want to connect with us, you can find us at Simon and Helene on Instagram. You can find it .com. That's basically our tag anywhere, Simon and Helene. And we'd love to just have a conversation with you around how we can bring you to the next level in your friendships.
And can I just say as well, if you're just interested in friendships, jump on a connection call with us. It doesn't have to be that you're committed to this. You may just be interested in it. We love people and there's no commitment for taking that call. Let's hear where you are at. For some, that 30-minute talk can be a game changer as well. And we are happy with that. So connect with us and let's have a chat. Maybe you become a client. Maybe you could walk away from there with 5 gold nuggets to change your situation. And we are seriously happy to do that as well. So connect with us. We'd love to chat with you wherever you are where you're at in your friendship journey.
Awesome. Again, you guys, Simon, Helene, you've been amazing to chat to today. Their offer will be in our podcast summary and there'll be links in there. So be sure to click on the link and don't forget to subscribe to the Wise Dome podcast. And again, Simon and Helene, thank you so much for coming on today. Take care.
Take care. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for listening to the Wise Dome podcast. If you enjoyed and have been inspired by this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, do subscribe and please share it with others. Post about us on social media or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, Nikki Kelly, you can follow me on Instagram at Wise Dome Podcast, WISEDOME Podcast. I'm Nikki Kelly. Thanks again, and we'll catch up next time.